It's week 5. Keep it up, folks. You've reached essay number 3. As I said early in the course, an important part of the writing process is reflection. One of the goals for this course is to find out what works best for you. And your writing activity this week will give you a chance to do just that. In at least one full page, reflect on your successes and struggles thus far. Then use that to make a plan for essay number 3. We're once again going to be tackling a new genre. This week, you're going to be writing an illustrative essay. An illustrative essay is all about examples. The goal is to lay out a new idea and then use specific examples to illustrate, hence the name, the thing that you're talking about. We see this process all of the time. You've probably done it yourself. Have you ever used a term that your friend isn't familiar with and then listed off a bunch of examples to clue them in? Or read about a new type of something that includes a listicle of pretty pictures to show you what the author is talking about? That's an illustration. Your fairy tale readings for this week are a prime example. Unlike the past selections we've read, where you have different versions of the same story, this week's selection has a collection of different stories that all share something in common. The main character is a trickster. A trickster is a specific type of character, or archetype, that pops up in literature and mythology from around the world. Loki, Coyote, Raven, Hermes, Kokopelli, all of these are examples of tricksters. They are characters known for their cleverness, their cunning, and their willingness to bend the rules when necessary. Tricksters are neither heroes nor villains. They tend to live in the gray areas. They tend to lack the noble heritage, strength, and glory of a traditional hero, but they're also not out to doom the world. Sometimes they even save it. As the introduction of this section of your fairy tales book points out, they are underdogs who are often responsible for establishing a brave new world, one that's usually better than the one that came before. You'll have the chance to read a number of trickster stories this week as the editor of your book illustrates this category of character for you. You'll also have the chance to write about them in your discussion board. Your critical reading assignment this week also deals with tricksters. But whereas most tricksters fit into the predictable mold, in the essay Female Tricksters as Double Agents, Maria Tartar argues that we need a new category if we're going to understand a new mode of the trickster girl. Like Tartar, this week you will be identifying and naming a new category of story, text, or character, and then illustrating it for your readers. To do this, start by considering the stories and media that you consume and think about how it gets categorized. For example, we talk about comedies, dramas, mysteries, and reality TV. But what do we do with those that don't quite fit? Well, in the early 2000s, a new term became popular: the dramedy. Shows like Psych and Gilmore Girls were definitely funny, but they offered a lot more than a typical sitcom. So we needed a new term to talk about them. We do the same thing with books. We have mysteries, romance, horror, sci-fi, but what happens when an author does something new or blends two categories together? Well, then we need a new way to talk about this type of book. Think about the books, movies, TV shows, characters, songs, and even memes that you see. Most of them can be placed pretty neatly in their boxes. A country song sounds like a country song. You know it when you hear it. Until you have Taylor Swift cross over to the pop charts or Lil Nas perform alongside Billy Ray Cyrus. These rule breakers are what we're interested in this week. Are there any shows or characters that you see that just don't fit in? Any memes or movies that are doing something that crosses boundaries? How about songs or books that you like that often get miscategorized or that you feel people just don't get? That's where you come in. You're going to be creating a category for a type of text, story, or character that doesn't fit into a category that already exists. You need at least 3 examples of this new category. Once you decide on the group of stories, texts, or characters that you want to write about, then you need to figure out what connects them. What do they have in common? What set of characteristics are needed to fit into this new category? Based on this, give that category a name. Those two pieces together, the category and the characteristics, are your subject and claim. Your goal in this essay is to argue that this category should exist, and the support that you'll use are your 3 examples. That's the illustrative part. Those 3 examples will be your main points. You need to set them up in your thesis and then discuss one in each of your body paragraphs. You'll need 3 sources for this, and they can all be the primary sources that you use for your examples, the TV shows, for instance, or they can be secondary sources that support your claim. Organization is a big part of this essay, so think carefully about how you want to arrange your ideas and guide your readers. Also, this essay is designed to stretch your creativity, so strive for originality. And as always, if you need help, ask. Do your best, and remember, I'm here if you need me.